In a galaxy thick with star clusters and nebulous whispers, Idris, a seasoned spacefarer, charted his course toward uncharted territories. His ship, a sleek model just shy of a decade old, hummed through the cosmos, carrying him away from familiar star systems toward a mysterious planet rumored among the space ports for its hidden wonders. As Idris approached the planet, his communications array flickered to life, capturing a signal not listed in any star maps. Intrigued, he traced the signal to its source, landing his ship in a lush, verdant clearing surrounded by towering flora that shimmered with bioluminescent light. Stepping out, Idris was greeted by a peculiar sight. A man, seemingly human, who introduced himself as Talon, a fellow traveler marooned by a curious twist of fate. Tall and rugged, with eyes like the nebulous storms back home, Talon extended a hand in greeting. "Welcome to Serendia," Talon said, his voice warm. "I take it you're not from around here either?" Idris shook his head, accepting the handshake. "Just passing through and caught your signal. What brings a human all the way out here?" "A bit of adventure, a bit of misfortune," Talon replied with a chuckle. "But you'll find this place has its charms. Care for a tour?" Together, they ventured deeper into the landscape, which seemed to pulse with life. As they walked, Talon shared stories of his arrival and survival, how he learned to communicate with the planet's native species, and the existence of Lysara, a being unlike any other. "Lysara is different, my friend," Talon explained. "She understands us, helps us. You'll see soon enough." As dusk fell, the sky painted in strokes of cosmic purples and greens, they reached a clearing where a figure awaited. It was Lysara, ethereal in form, her presence radiating an otherworldly grace. Her eyes sparkled with a knowing light, and her smile held the serenity of the starlit sky. "Idris of the stars," she greeted, her voice a melody that resonated with the soft hum of the universe. "I have heard much from Talon. He speaks highly of your courage." Idris, taken aback by her beauty and composure, managed a polite nod. "The pleasure is mine, Lysara. Talon tells me you're someone to know around here." Lysara's laughter tinkled like chimes on a gentle breeze. "Perhaps I am. Tell me, traveler, what brings you to my hidden world?" Seeking connection and driven by curiosity, Idris responded, "I'm here in search of new experiences, perhaps wisdom. The universe is vast, and I find each corner holds a new lesson." "Then you are welcome here," Lysara said. "And since you are a seeker of experiences, I offer you a unique gift, 3 gifts, in fact. Choose wisely, and your path may lead to wonders you've yet to imagine." Idris exchanged a glance with Talon, who nodded encouragingly. The offer was intriguing, and Idris felt a pull toward the unknown promises hidden in her words. As the stars blinked above, lighting the night with ancient light, Idris felt the weight of his journey lighten, his path now intertwined with the fates of Talon and Lysara in this strange, captivating world. Under the gleam of Serendia's twin moons, Idris, Talon, and Lysara settled by a radiant, glowing river whose waters flowed with soft, luminescent particles. The night was calm, and the air was filled with the sweet scents of the alien flora. Lysara turned to Idris, her gaze inviting and profound. "You are granted 3 gifts. What is your first wish, Idris of the stars?" Idris took a moment, his eyes reflecting the dance of light on the water. He felt the weight of his desire for connection, not just a passing touch, but a true understanding. "My first wish," he began, his voice steady, "is to truly connect, to understand and be understood by another. Not merely to know, but to feel." Lysara's expression softened, her cheeks tinting with a blush at the depth of his request. "To connect is to open one's self completely," she said, her tone a mixture of admiration and surprise. "It is a brave wish. I will grant it, but it must be through shared experiences. You will learn of us, and we of you." Talon nodded, a smile playing at his lips. "Then let's start at the heart of Serendia. Tomorrow, we explore the singing forests. You'll hear the trees' melodies, a communication beyond words." The next day, as promised, the trio ventured into the depths of the singing forests. The trees towered above, their trunks wide and leaves shimmering with a silvery hue. Each breeze that passed through caused the leaves to vibrate, emitting harmonious tones that resonated in the chest. Each tone is a sentiment, a thought, Lasara explained as they walked. Listen closely. Idris closed his eyes, letting the symphony wash over him. He reached out, touching the bark of a nearby tree, and the note that sounded was deeper, more resonant. It's like feeling its soul, he murmured. Exactly, Talon added, touching another tree, creating a harmony. They speak in emotions and feelings that transcend spoken language. As they continued, Idris felt a connection not just to Lasara and Talon, but to the planet itself. Each tree's song added layers to his understanding of this world, weaving a tapestry of emotional communication that was new yet deeply familiar. Later, sitting around a small fire, the trio shared stories of their worlds. Idris spoke of Earth, its vast oceans and bustling cities, while Talon shared tales of distant travels and the sights he'd seen. Lasara listened, her eyes wide with wonder, occasionally sharing snippets of her life on Serendia. As much as Serendia gives, it asks for respect, for harmony, Lasara said. It's a living entity, not just a place. We thrive together. Idris nodded, feeling a profound shift in his perspective. I'm starting to see that. On Earth, we often forget how interconnected life is. Here, it's impossible to ignore. The night grew deep, and the fire's glow cast their shadows long across the soft ground. Idris felt a warmth in this connection, a fulfillment that was different from any he'd experienced before. This first wish, though simple in its essence, had opened his heart to a new way of being. Lasara smiled at him, her eyes reflecting the firelight. You are more connected than you know, Idris. And this is just the beginning. As they retired for the night, Idris felt the first gift settle around him like a cloak. It was more than he had hoped for, and as he drifted off to sleep under the alien sky, he was eager to discover what other wonders his wishes would bring. As the first light of dawn pierced the horizon of Serendia, Idris, Talon, and Lasara prepared for another day of exploration and bonding. The air was crisp, filled with the invigorating scent of alien flowers that bloomed overnight, their petals unfurling like the promise of new discoveries. Today we'll visit the Crystal Caverns, Lasara announced as they enjoyed a breakfast of local fruits, their flavors both strange and delightful. It's a place of reflection and clarity, both literally and metaphorically. Idris nodded, still amazed by the natural beauty and the depth of connection he'd felt since arriving. I'm ready. Yesterday was enlightening. I'm eager to see what today holds. As they set out, the landscape changed dramatically. The lush greenery gave way to rugged terrain dotted with glistening crystal outcrops. The path was steep, and the group relied on each other's strength to navigate the tricky passages. Watch your step here, Talon advised as he helped Idris over a particularly slippery rock. The crystals can be sharp. Thanks, Idris replied, gripping Talon's offered hand. I appreciate it. After a challenging hike, they reached the entrance to the Crystal Caverns. The caverns were awe-inspiring, a vast chamber where every surface was covered in crystals that radiated light in a spectrum of colors. The air inside was cool and vibrated with a subtle, harmonious frequency. Lasara led them to the heart of the cavern. These crystals amplify feelings. It's a place to share thoughts freely and honestly, she explained. Anything you feel, think, or wish to understand about each other. Now is the time. Talon took a deep breath, looking at Idris with a thoughtful expression. Idris, you've brought a new perspective to our little duo here. I've been with Lasara for a while, but your curiosity, your openness, it's refreshing. It reminds me why I started traveling in the first place. Idris was touched by the sincerity in Talon's voice. I'm glad to hear that. Both of you have opened up a new world to me. Lasara, your connection to everything around you, it's profound. It makes me rethink my relationship with my own world. Lasara smiled, her eyes reflecting the myriad lights around them. And you, Idris, have shown me that there are still so many ways to connect, to truly see another being. Your desire to understand and feel is powerful. It's something we value here, but rarely see so purely demonstrated. The trio sat in a circle, the light from the crystals pulsating gently around them, echoing their heartbeats. They shared more about their lives. Talon's adventures across galaxies, Idris's past and hopes, Lysara's deep connection to Serendia and her role as its guardian. As we sit here, surrounded by clarity, I feel like I'm seeing parts of myself reflected in both of you, Idris confessed. It's as if these crystals aren't just reflecting light, but aspects of who we are and who we can be. Yes, Talon agreed. It's like these stones pull out the deepest parts of us, the parts we don't always see ourselves. They continued to talk, the cavern around them enhancing each word with its resonant vibrations, deepening their understanding of each other. As they prepared to leave the cavern, Idris felt as if a veil had been lifted from his eyes. Walking back through the now familiar landscape, the bond between them had solidified. They had shared not just words and stories, but parts of their souls, offered and accepted with the trust and acceptance that true connections are built on. The day ended with a sense of fulfillment, a profound connection that went beyond words, and a deep, comforting silence that spoke volumes as they watched the sunset, the sky ablaze with colors that mirrored the crystals they had left behind. After the day's revelations in the crystal caverns, the trio decided to spend the following morning at Serendia's famed Timeless Lake, a serene body of water said to slow the passage of time for those who linger by its shores. As they prepared their gear for the day's outing, Idris turned to Lysara and Talon, feeling a renewed sense of camaraderie. I think for my second wish, I'd like to ask for time. Time to explore all that I've begun to learn about this world and about myself through both of you. Lysara looked pleased. Time is the most precious gift, Idris. Here by the Timeless Lake, you will feel it even more deeply. It's a place where moments linger, allowing for reflection and growth. The journey to the lake was filled with light banter and shared laughter, echoing the deeper bonds that had formed between them. Upon arrival, the lake presented a vista of tranquil beauty. Its waters were a clear blue, mirroring the sky above, and the air seemed to pulse with a quiet energy. Talon set down their picnic basket beside the lake. I used to think time was just something that passed, something you use but don't think about. Being here with you two, I've started to see it differently. How so? Idris asked, as he helped spread out a soft blanket on the grassy shore. It's like each moment is a universe of its own, full of potential. Here especially, you feel each second expand, fill up with life, Talon replied, his gaze fixed on the gentle ripples of the lake. Lysara nodded, sitting down and pulling her knees close. This lake teaches us that every instant is an eternity in miniature. We learn to appreciate the now, not just looking back or forward, but really being present. The three of them sat in silence for a moment, soaking in the serene atmosphere. Idris then spoke, being here, with both of you, it's as if time itself is stretched. I feel I'm living more fully in each moment. Lysara smiled at him. That's the gift of the Timeless Lake. It reflects what you bring to it. And today, it reflects the depth of your thoughts and the joy of your company. They spent hours by the lake, sometimes talking, sometimes just sitting in silence, allowing the tranquility of the place to seep into their bones. At one point, Talon stood and walked to the water's edge, beckoning Idris to join him. Watch this, Talon said as he picked up a small stone and tossed it gently onto the surface of the lake. Instead of sinking, the stone skimmed across, bouncing lightly before settling. The lake holds things gently, like it knows the weight of what you carry and just wants to ease it, even if just for a while, Talon observed, his voice low. Idris, moved by the metaphor, picked up his own stone. It's amazing how a place can make you feel so light, so free. Yes, and that's something to carry back with you, a reminder that time doesn't just pass. It's what we make of it, Talon replied, clapping Idris on the shoulder. As the day faded into evening, the three made their way back, feeling as if no time had passed at all, yet also as if they had shared a lifetime's worth of moments. The gift of time had indeed been granted, enriching their friendship and deepening their connection to the mysterious, magical world of Serendia. The following morning, after their reflective day by the timeless lake, Idris, Talon, and Lasara decided to engage in an activity that was integral to the culture of Serendia, soul weaving. This ancient practice involved creating intricate patterns from the vibrant flora and fauna, which symbolized the weaving of individual lives into the tapestry of the universe. As they gathered the colorful materials from around Lasara's dwelling, Talon explained the significance of the tradition. Soul weaving is more than just craft. It's a form of storytelling, of sharing one's journey through symbols and colors. Lasara smiled, selecting a bright, azure vine. Each element we choose represents a part of our soul, our experiences, and our dreams. Today, as we weave, think about what defines you, what you cherish, and what you aspire to be. Idris picked up a fiery red leaf, turning it over in his hands. I've never done anything like this before. Where do we start? Start with this, Lasara said, handing him a golden thread. Think of it as the foundation. Everything builds from here. They sat in a circle, the ground around them scattered with nature's palette. Idris watched as Talon began his pattern, his movements confident and practiced. Lasara's hands moved with a grace that seemed almost choreographed, each twist and turn of her wrists weaving magic into the creation. Idris felt hesitant at first, but as he selected each piece, he found himself reflecting on his life's journey, the challenges he had faced, the triumphs, and the quiet moments that had shaped him. He spoke of these moments as he worked, the others listening and occasionally sharing their own stories. This leaf, Idris said, holding up a dark green, almost black leaf with silver specks, reminds me of the night sky back home on Earth. It's about possibility, about the vastness that surrounds us and the unknown we strive to understand. Talon added a piece of twisted wood to his own creation. And this is for the paths we choose, often twisted, with unexpected turns but always leading us somewhere new, somewhere necessary. Lasara's creation was vibrant, a reflection of her connection to Serendia and her role as its steward. Each color here speaks of a part of this planet. The blue for its waters, the green for the forests, the reds for the fire flowers that bloom once every cycle. As the afternoon sun began to wane, their individual pieces came together at the center of their circle, a joint creation that symbolized their interconnected lives and shared experiences. It was a beautiful, complex mix of textures and colors, each thread and element holding a story, a memory. Look at what we've created, Lasara said, her voice filled with awe. Separately, each piece has its beauty, but together, they form something extraordinary. Idris leaned back, admiring their work. It's like us, isn't it? Alone, we each have our strengths, our own stories. But together, we're something more. We're a community, a shared force. Yes, Talon agreed, his eyes on the woven tapestry. It's about unity, about finding common ground through our differences. That's what makes it strong, resilient. As they packed away the remnants of their materials, the woven piece lay at the center, a testament to their day of shared stories and mutual understanding. They left it there, a permanent fixture in Lasara's home, a symbol of their bond and the time they had spent together. That evening, as they gathered around a fire, the bond they had strengthened through their art and stories enveloped them in a warmth that went beyond the physical, touching their souls, enriching them with a sense of belonging and understanding that transcended words. As the days on Serendia passed, the connection between Idris, Talon, and Lasara deepened. With his final wish still unclaimed, Idris pondered what legacy he could create that would encapsulate the profound impact of their shared experiences. One evening, as they sat watching the twin moons rise, the idea crystallized. I've been thinking about my last wish, Idris began, turning to his friends who were lounging beside him on the soft, mossy ground. I want it to be something that lasts, something that celebrates not just my journey here, but our bond and what we've discovered together. Talon nodded, his face lit by the soft moonlight. What do you have in mind? A sanctuary, Idris said, a place on Serendia where travelers can come to find peace, to learn from this world and contribute to it, just as I have. Lysara's eyes sparkled with excitement. A sanctuary? That's a beautiful idea. A place that can serve as a crossroad for cultures, for beings from all corners of the universe. It could be a center where the art of soul weaving can be taught, where stories like ours can be shared and preserved. Yes, exactly, Idris agreed enthusiastically. A living library, a nexus of knowledge and understanding. We can build it together. The following morning, fueled by their shared vision, the trio set out to find the perfect location. They trekked through the lush landscapes of Serendia, each suggesting different sites: the edge of the singing forests, near the timeless lake, and atop the serene hills overlooking the crystal caverns. Finally, they found an ideal spot at the heart of the planet, a tranquil valley surrounded by flowering trees and a clear, gentle stream. "This is it," Idris declared, his voice echoing softly in the open air. "This valley feels right. It's peaceful, welcoming." Talon surveyed the area, his tactical mind considering the practicalities. It's accessible, has natural beauty, and is peaceful enough for reflection and learning. We can use local materials to build, make it truly a part of Serendia. Lysara reached out, touching the bark of a nearby tree. "And the land here is alive, eager to be part of our dream. We'll ask the flora to integrate with the structures, make it a living part of the sanctuary." They spent the next few weeks planning and beginning construction. Idris learned to work with the natural elements of Serendia under Lysara's guidance, while Talon organized the layout and structure of the sanctuary. Together, they crafted a space that was both functional and beautiful, blending seamlessly with its environment. As the sanctuary took shape, others began to visit. Curious travelers drawn by the energy of the site stopped by, some staying to help, others simply to learn and share. Each visitor left something behind: a story, a piece of art, a bit of wisdom, enriching the sanctuary further. One evening, as they sat in the nearly completed main hall of the sanctuary, Idris looked around at the gathered faces, some alien, some human, all eager and open. This is what I dreamed of," Idris said to Talon and Lysara. "A place where differences are not just accepted but celebrated, where learning is a shared journey." Talon clapped him on the back, a wide grin on his face. "You did it, Idris. We did it. This sanctuary is a symphony of all our voices, a harmony of diverse cultures and stories," Lysara added, "and it will continue to grow, just like us. With each new visitor, each new story, it will evolve." Together, they watched as the sun set, casting a golden glow over the sanctuary. The air was filled with the gentle hum of the singing forests, the laughter of the stream, and the quiet buzz of conversation from their new community. The sanctuary, a symbol of their unity and collective vision, stood strong and vibrant, a living testament to the power of friendship and shared dreams. The sanctuary had become a nexus where travelers from distant stars shared knowledge and stories, weaving their lives into the fabric of Serendia's lush tapestry. Idris, Talon, and Lysara found themselves at the heart of a thriving community, their lives enriched by the diverse influx of ideas and cultures. One tranquil evening, as the sanctuary buzzed with the gentle murmur of interstellar dialects, Idris and Talon walked along the stream that flowed through the heart of their creation. The reflective surface of the water mirrored the vibrant hues of the twilight sky. Idris cast a stone across the water, watching the ripples expand. I never imagined my journey would lead me here. This place, these connections, it's more than I dared hope for." Talon nodded, his gaze following the stone's path. "It's remarkable, isn't it? How a simple wish can transform into something this profound. I think this sanctuary isn't just a place. It's a living entity, shaped by every soul that passes through." Idris sighed, a mix of contentment and wistful longing coloring his tone. "And yet, as much as I belong here, part of me is still tied to Earth. There's a pull, a call to return that I cannot seem to shake." Talon looked at him, understanding flickering in his eyes. "It's the call of home, Idris. It's strong, no matter how far we roam. Do you think you'll answer it?" Before Idris could reply, Lysara joined them, her presence as calming as the evening breeze. "What weighs on your minds, my friends?" Idris shared his feelings, and Lasara listened intently, her eyes reflecting the stars beginning to twinkle above. "Home is where the heart finds peace, Idris. If your seeks Earth, then you must follow it. But remember, Serendia is also a home now, and homes can have many rooms." The conversation lingered on the nature of home and belonging, stretching into the night as they returned to the gathering. The community had prepared a feast to celebrate the latest additions to the sanctuary, a group of scholars from a distant galaxy, bringing with them their own unique knowledge and traditions. As they ate, Idris conversed with the newcomers, sharing stories of Earth and learning of their homeworlds. Each tale added layers to his understanding of the universe, but also to his own desires and where they might truly lie. Later, as the feast wound down, Talon pulled Idris aside. "Whatever you decide, know that what we've built, the bonds we've formed, it doesn't end. It's a part of you now, as much as you are a part of it." Idris nodded, feeling the truth of Talon's words. "I know, and that makes the thought of leaving bittersweet. But there's a part of me that needs to see Earth again, to bring back what I've learned here. And so you should," Talon said, clapping him on the back. "Explore all the rooms of your home, Idris. Just don't forget the way back to this one." The night ended with laughter and music, the sounds of a community that had grown beyond simple geography, bound by shared experiences and collective wisdom. Idris felt the dual pull of his worlds, one rich with the history of his past, the other vibrant with the promise of his future. The decision loomed, but for now, he was content to revel in the present, surrounded by friends and fellow seekers on the shores of Serendia. The sanctuary was alive with the soft light of Serendia's twin suns as dawn approached. Idris had spent a restless night under the stars, his thoughts oscillating between his life on Earth and his profound connections on Serendia. As he watched the sky shift from dark to a pale blue, he felt a sense of clarity wash over him. Walking along the path that wound through the sanctuary, Idris found Talon waiting for him near the main hall, a knowing look on his face. "Couldn't sleep either?" Talon asked. Idris shook his head. "No, I made my decision, Talon. I'm going back to Earth. I need to bring back what I've learned here, share the vision of this place with my own world." Talon nodded, his expression thoughtful. "I figured as much. And while it's tough to see you go, I know it's what you need to do. Just promise me one thing." "Anything," Idris replied. "Come back," Talon said simply. "Come back with stories, with new dreams. This place will always be a part of your journey." Idris smiled, feeling the weight of his friend's words. "I promise. And who knows? Maybe I'll bring some of Earth back here with me." The friends shared a heartfelt embrace, understanding the vast distances that would soon separate them, but also the unbreakable bond they had formed. As they parted, Lasara approached, her presence as serene as the morning. "You're leaving then?" she inquired, her voice calm but carrying a tinge of sadness. "Yes, Lasara. But like I told Talon, I'll be back. I want to see this place thrive, see how it grows. And I want to be a part of that growth," Idris explained. Lasara nodded. "I understand. And I'm grateful for the time we've shared and the visions you've helped build here. Your journey continues, as does ours. Remember, the connection we've formed transcends distance and time." "I will. And thank you, Lasara, for everything," Idris said, feeling the emotions well up inside him. The community gathered to bid farewell to Idris, each member offering words of encouragement and small tokens for his journey back to Earth. The sense of unity and warmth was overwhelming, and as Idris looked around at the faces, both human and alien, he knew he was leaving a part of himself behind. As the time for departure neared, Talon and Lasara escorted Idris to his ship, which had been repaired and resupplied by the community. Standing at the entry ramp, Idris turned to face them one last time. "This isn't goodbye, it's just until next time," Idris said, trying to keep his voice steady. "Until next time," Lasara repeated, her smile bittersweet. "And when you come back, bring some of those Earth delicacies you've told us so much about," Talon added, trying to lighten the mood. Idris laughed, nodding in agreement. "You got it. Take care of this place, both of you. With one final look, Idris boarded his ship, the engines humming to life beneath him. As the ship lifted off and ascended into the morning sky, Idris watched through the viewport as the sanctuary, his second home, shrank away. His heart was heavy with departure, but also alight with purpose. As the stars beckoned him onward, Idris knew his journey was far from over. It was a continuum, a series of comings and goings, of learnings and sharings. And as Serendia faded into the distance, Earth's blue shimmer came into focus, a reminder of the cyclical nature of his travels. A celestial dance of departures and returns, underpinned by the promise of reunion. Idris carried with him a universe of experiences and the echoing promise of return, setting the course for a new chapter, not just for himself, but for two worlds that had grown a little closer through one man's journey.